You're about to find out why the 500 extra calories a day you've been shoveling into bulk might be the exact reason your abs disappeared 2 weeks in, and why a much smaller number, right around 200, is what actually separates clean muscle from a soft, sloppy gut. If you've ever ended a bulk heavier, rounder, and somehow not any more muscular, this is the video that fixes it. Stick with me, because by the end, you'll understand the one number that decides whether the food you eat turns into the physique you want or just extra padding you'll have to diet off later. Let's get into it. Here's the mistake almost everyone makes when they decide to build muscle. You hear the word surplus. You hear eat big to get big, and your brain translates that into permission. Permission to add a second dinner. Permission to smash 500, 700, 1,000 extra calories a day because, hey, you're bulking now. And for the first week, it feels amazing. The scale jumps, your pumps in the gym feel insane, you think it's working. But here's what you're not seeing. That fast jump on the scale isn't muscle, it's food volume, it's water, it's glycogen, and very quickly, it's fat. Because your body has a hard limit on how fast it can actually build muscle, and no amount of extra eating breaks that ceiling. That's the piece nobody explains to you. So let's fix that right now. Your body builds muscle at a fixed biological rate. If you're brand new to training, you might build something like 1 pound to 2 pounds of muscle in a good month. If you've been lifting seriously for a few years, that number drops hard, maybe 1/2 pound of real muscle a month if your training and sleep are dialed in. That's it. That's the speed limit, and you can't bribe your body to go faster by eating more. So think about what that means. Building that muscle only requires a small amount of extra energy on top of what you already burn in a day. Once you've supplied that small amount, every additional calorie you eat doesn't have anywhere useful to go. Your body isn't going to build muscle faster just because you gave it more fuel. So it does the only other thing it can do with surplus energy. It stores it. And the storage form is body fat. That's the whole game. That's why a massive surplus makes you fat and a small one makes you lean. It was never about eating as much as possible. It was about eating just enough to sit right on top of that muscle-building speed limit, and not a bite more. Now, if you'd rather have all of this done for you, instead of figuring it out the hard way, that's exactly what my Lean Bulk program is built to do. The link's right at the top of the description. Go grab it before you forget. So where does 200 come from? Run the math with me, because once you see it, you'll never forget it. Roughly speaking, it takes about 3,500 extra calories stored to add 1 pound of body weight. If you eat 200 calories over your maintenance every single day, that's about 1,400 extra calories a week, which works out to a little under 1/2 pound of weight gained per week. Now line that up against the muscle speed limit we just talked about. 1/2 pound of gain per week is almost exactly the pace at which a lifter can add mostly lean tissue. You're feeding the growth without drowning it. That's the entire logic behind the 200 calorie rule. It's not some magic mystical number. It's just the surplus that happens to match how fast your body can actually turn food into muscle. Compare that to the 500 calorie surplus you've probably been running. That's 1 pound of gain per week. But your muscle building rate didn't double just because you doubled the surplus. So where's that extra 1/2 pound a week coming from? Fat, week after week. That's how guys end up 4 months into a bulk needing to cut for 3 months just to see what they built underneath. So let me be straight with you, because I don't want you leaving here treating 200 like a law of physics. 200 is a starting point, not a commandment. If you're a beginner, you can often run it a touch higher, maybe 250 to 300, because you're building muscle faster and can afford to feed it more. If you're advanced, you might even want to sit closer to 150. The exact number is personal. But 200 is the default I'd start almost anyone at, because it's the number most likely to keep your gains clean while you figure out your own body. And that brings us to the part people always skip. The part that actually makes this work. You cannot add 200 calories to a number you don't know. So before you touch the surplus, you have to find your maintenance. Your maintenance is simply the number of calories that keeps your weight dead stable, not going up, not going down. Here's the honest way to find it. For 1 to 2 weeks, you eat normally, and you track 2 things: what you're actually eating and your body weight first thing in the morning. Weigh yourself daily, then take the weekly average, because your day-to-day weight bounces around from water and food in your gut, and the average is the only number that tells the truth. If that weekly average is holding steady, congratulations, you just found your maintenance. Now, and only now, do you add your 200. If you skip this step and just guess your maintenance, you're not running a 200-calorie surplus. You're running a mystery surplus that could be 600, could be 0. And that's exactly how people either blow up with fat or spin their wheels wondering why they're not growing. Now here's the thing I really want you to internalize, because it's where the Apple Watches and the fitness apps lie to you. The calorie numbers those devices spit out for how much you burned are estimates, and often bad ones. Your fitness tracker does not know your true maintenance. Neither does an online calculator. They're starting guesses. The real answer only comes from watching your own scale trend over a couple of weeks. Your body is the calculator. The gadget is just a hint. So once you've got your maintenance and you've added your 200, your job is simple, but it's not passive. You keep taking that weekly average weight. You want to see it creeping up by roughly 1/3 to 1/2 pound a week. That's the sweet spot. If 2-3 weeks go by and the scale hasn't moved at all, your surplus isn't real. Something's off. You're burning more than you think, and you nudge your intake up by another 100 or so. But if the scale is climbing faster than about 3/4 pound a week, that's your warning light. That's not extra muscle, that's fat accumulating, and you pull your intake back down. You are constantly making tiny corrections. Add a little, watch. Pull back a little, watch. That's what running a proper caloric surplus actually looks like. It's a dial you adjust, not a switch you flip and forget. And if running these numbers every single week sounds like a grind, it honestly is. Which is the exact reason I built my Lean Bulk program to do all of it for you. Click the link, plug in your stats, and let it run your surplus while you just eat and train. And this is exactly where the whole dirty bulk versus lean bulk argument gets settled. A dirty bulk is the old school approach. Eat everything in sight, get the surplus as big as possible, gain weight as fast as possible, and sort it out later. And look, you will build muscle on a dirty bulk. But you'll build it buried under a mountain of fat you didn't need to gain, and you'll spend months cutting it back off, months where you're now dieting, under-eating, and putting your hard-earned muscle at risk. A lean bulk is what we've been describing this entire video. Small surplus, slow steady gain, mostly muscle, minimal fat. You stay looking good the whole way through, and when you decide to stop, you're not staring down a brutal cut. If you want the full head-to-head on that, I've got a whole breakdown on dirty bulk versus lean bulk you should watch after this one. The 200-calorie rule is the engine that makes a lean bulk possible. It's the difference between the two. Let me hit you with the traps, because knowing the rule and executing it are two different things. Trap number 1, the weekend blowout. You run your perfect 200-calorie surplus Monday through Friday, and then Saturday and Sunday, you go completely off the rails. 2 big dinners, drinks, dessert, the works. Do the math on that, and your carefully calibrated 200-a-day surplus just became a 500-a-day surplus once you average the week out. Your weekends can quietly erase your entire strategy. The surplus is a weekly number, not just a weekday one. Trap number 2, liquid calories. It is stupidly easy to drink an extra 400 calories without registering it as food. Juices, sodas, the giant healthy smoothie, the cream and sugar in your coffees. These sail right past your radar and blow your surplus wide open. If you're going to eat your surplus, eat it from real food that fills you up instead of drinking it and staying hungry. Trap number 3, impatience. This is the big one. A lean bulk is slow. Gaining 1/3 pound a week feels like nothing when you're staring in the mirror, waiting to look jacked. And that impatience is exactly what tempts you to say screw it and add another few hundred calories to speed things up. But you already know now, you can't speed up muscle. All you speed up is fat. Patience isn't just a nice idea here, it's literally the mechanism. Trust the small number. So let's bring this home. A caloric surplus was never about eating as much as you possibly can. Your body builds muscle at a fixed rate, and once you've fed that rate, every extra calorie becomes fat. A surplus of around 200 calories a day matches that rate almost perfectly. Roughly 1/3 to 1/2 pound of gain per week, mostly muscle, barely any fat. But the number only works if you do the setup. Find your true maintenance by tracking your weekly average weight then add your 200 on top. Then keep watching that average and adjusting up or down as your body tells you what's really happening. Ignore the tracker on your wrist and trust the trend on the scale. Do that, and you become the person who bulks and still looks good doing it. The person who ends their bulk excited instead of dreading the cut. That's the entire point of learning how to lean bulk the right way. You build the muscle without burying it. So before you click away, if you're serious about building clean muscle this year, tap the first link in the description and start my Lean Bulk program today. That one click is where your new physique begins. If this made the surplus finally click for you, you already know what to do. And go watch my breakdown on exactly how to calculate your macros next. Because now that you've got your calorie target, dividing it up the right way is the piece that turns this from good to dialed in. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.